All right. Welcome. Good afternoon, Kansas City, Missouri. Good afternoon to the world. This is KUAW Radio. I am your host, Louis George Walker, coming to you with the BFTAA and more show today. Yes. We're so glad to be with you. Hey, I want to start off and tell everybody that sent me birthday wishes and birthday thank you, family, friends, everyone. I appreciate it very much. I got a lot of birthday wishes. Yesterday was my birthday. I've turned a young 72 years old, but we're just glad to still be here to talk with people and to work with people and to work with our young people and families. We got some things to tell you about, something that's going to be going on right here tomorrow. It's not open to the public, but it's the start of some of the things that we want to be doing to help in the community. So we'll give you some information, and hopefully in the future we'll do some more of what's coming up tomorrow right here at the WEB, the Boys Learning Center. But in the meantime, I want to let you know that you are listening to KUAW Radio, the BFTAA and more show. I am your host, Louis George Walker, as I am punching the buttons and trying to get things set up and typed up and all those other good things. We're rolling. Yes, we're rolling right here, right now. See if I'm going out to you guys looking good, as I think I am. Yeah, got that button pushed, that button pushed. I don't have that button pushed. Okay, now we're going out on the radio side and everything, so you can pick us up on KOJH, Kansas City's original jazz house, at FM 100.5 on your radio dial. So you can pick us up on the FM side if you're here in the Kansas City area. And if you just happen to be cruising the world on the World Wide Web, you can pick us up on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch. We're in a lot of different... Okay, I said that, and now it doesn't seem like I'm coming up on my Facebook page, my YouTube page. So let me get back over here. It's always fun to make sure we've got all our connections. Yeah, it says it's up. Don't know what's going on here. Just a minute as I finish this. Yes, this is a work in progress as we go along, and we will try and make sure. You may be going out. It may be going out, but I wasn't showing it going out. There we are. Okay, I can see me now. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't going out on my screen. I think you guys were seeing me the whole time. But like I said, you can pick us up on the World Wide Web. We're everywhere at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Just go to search KUAW, and you can pick us up, or go to KUAW-radio on Facebook, KUAW space radio on YouTube. And the post is just now going up on X, what used to be Twitter. And we're glad that we can get that up for people. Let's see, KUAW. There we are. Bingo. All right, so yeah, and we're on Twitch. Now, if you want to listen to us in your car, just the audio side where you don't want to be watching anything, you can do that too. If you have an MP3 player or MP3 Bluetooth, not MP3, but a Bluetooth connection in your car to your phone. All you got to do is connect those up and go on the World Wide Web to the TuneIn app. If you have the TuneIn app, you can pick us up. Get Me Radio, Online Radio Bot, mytuner.com. We're on all of those sites, Radio Garden. You can also pick us up on the Roku and the Apple Fire, I believe, or whatever that Apple streaming site is. So we have an audio version that goes out there, and you can pick us up just audio only on any of those sites. You can also pick us up if you have a smart speaker like a Google or Amazon. You just tell it to play KUAW. Tell it to play KUAW radio, and we'll come up on that. So you can hear us a lot of different ways in a lot of different places, and we're just glad that we're able to come to you today right here where we are located. So as we go through the day, now I want to bring up some of the news of the day, and we're going to get Alexander, you see, Mr. Alexander be on here with our news bit. Just a second, we'll bring that in. All right, so this is from the Urban News Network right now. We'll get some news from the Urban News Network. Here we go.
This is UNN Urban Network News. I'm Alexander Caden, and here's a couple of things happening in the news. The executor of O.J. Simpson's estate said he'll work to prevent a payout of the $33.5 million judgment awarded nearly 3 decades ago in a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the families of Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. Man, I know Diddy's got to be happy that O.J.'s name is back in the news. It's got to be nice to hear some news about somebody other than himself. A federal judge in Texas has ordered a 55-year-old U.S. agency that caters to minority-owned businesses to serve people regardless of race, siding with white business owners who claim the program discriminated against them. Did you know that former President Donald Trump compared himself to Jesus Christ, arguing that the bond for his financial crime was like Jesus being nailed to the cross? And he compared a gag order placed on his hush money case to the 27-year political imprisonment of the late South African leader and icon Nelson Mandela. 2 conservative political operatives who orchestrated a robocall campaign to dissuade black people from voting in the 2020 election have agreed to pay over $1 million under a settlement with the state of New York. They told people that they would be subjected to arrest, debt collection, and forced vaccination if they voted by mail. Don't forget today is April 15th and you're supposed to at least file your income tax.
We all love children, and many of us have an old car, truck, or van in the driveway. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to locating missing children and bringing them home safely. You can help support their mission by donating your car, truck, van, or SUV. A towing company will come and pick up your car for free, running or not. And the donation of your car is tax deductible. Call now and donate your old vehicle with free pickup today.
800-850-8713. That's 800-850-8713.
You've been listening to UNN Urban Network News. For more national news and information for and about people of color, visit our website at myunn.net.
All right. So there you go. That was some of the news going on. As you noticed, we did have the death of O.J. Simpson that came, I think that was last Friday or Saturday. O.J. Simpson, who was a famous football player and a actor, but then became infamous because of the court case that he was found not guilty of with Ron Goldman and forget his wife's name, his former wife, but anyway, of murder. He was charged with murdering his wife or ex-girlfriend and a friend of hers. But he was found not guilty, but that kind of tarnished his reputation. And then he was also found guilty in a civil suit that he was responsible for their deaths. And that took a lot of his finances away from him. I think they said he couldn't take his pro football pension, but everything else they had $10 million or so in assets of his that he had to give up. So from going to be one of the top names in football and Hall of Fame and a light comic movie career, wasn't big. He wasn't getting ready to get any Oscars or anything. But from that to disgrace and to die, kind of still his name rings, but it doesn't ring for the good things that he did. It's the controversy that came up. But we lost O.J. Simpson, and maybe that'll put it all to rest. Now, as the news just said, P. Diddy may be a little bit happy about it. Not happy, but somebody else is in the news other than him, and that's a case that is just starting that will find out more and more of the sexual allegations that are going against P. Diddy. We don't know exactly what the whole charge and stuff is, but it's just another one of these singers that have some things are coming to light on. So that's one of the things that's happening. That's not what our show is about. Our show is about technology. Our show is about giving you news and information of what's going on in the community and in technology around the world and right here in Kansas City, Missouri. So we're glad to be a part of that. That's what BFTAA and More Show is about. So as we go into that, one of the things that we like to do, and we had a great time. We had kids here that are doing their robotics program on Saturdays. And I wanted to remind everyone that May the 11th, we're going to be having a Remake Learning Days right here at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard. That's at Linwood and Elmwood. It's the old Milton Moore school. That if you come here on May the 11th, you can see some of the work that our young people are doing with their Lego robots. They're working and learning how to, assemble robots and stuff with that, because we're going to have them. They were in the competition this year or in December, and we're getting them ready for next year's competition, or not next school year, next school year's competition, which will start in late August, early September, and we should have them in competition by November or December. So we're working with our kids with their robots and they're learning. So come out and see what our young people are doing, and we're also going to have some other technology demonstrations for you to show you what the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is about and what we do here. So May the 11th, Remake Learning Days is going to be from 10 to 2 on that Saturday. We're going to have hot dogs, pop, potato chips. You have fun, and it'll be a good time for the kids to come out and the family, to just see what we're doing with technology around here. So we'll be glad to see you. It's absolutely free, and it's open to everybody. We want everybody to come that's in the area, anybody that hears, to come and celebrate with us Remake Learning Days about robots and drones right here at 4510 East Linwood Boulevard. Okay? All right. So we'll see you then, and we'll be glad to meet you, come in and shake hands, find out what we're doing and how you might want to help us, how you may want to get involved. One of the things that we have going on right now is a fundraiser. My birthday fundraiser is still up on Facebook, and we're trying to raise $2,000 to help support our program. We've raised $300 and something so far, so we're about $1,650, $1,660 short of our goal. So if you have $1,600 that you would like to donate to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, we would surely be glad to take it. This fundraiser is going to be up or going until April the 26th. So it's a little less than a month long, but we're raising funds for the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and you'll see that it's L. George Walker's birthday fundraiser. So, and we can take donations at any time. You can donate to this organization online. Go to our webpage, which is www.bftaa.org. So go to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association's webpage. You can make a donation 365 days a year. We have a link. You can use your credit card, your debit card, and you can make a donation to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We'd appreciate it, and we love getting the donations, because the donations that we raise help us to have money to do things like when you get grants, a lot of times they come with certain conditions and you have to spend the money on certain things. You can't use it to pay the rent or light bills or something. You've got to use it for your programs. So we need to also raise money on our own to help take care of some of those incidental things like lights, like gas, like rent and venue rentals, insurance payments, a lot of other costs that we have to do, internet costs and all that, that aren't really built into the projects that we do or a program that we do. So it's always good for nonprofits, any nonprofit, to raise some other money on their own and to see that the community is behind what you're doing. So go to our webpage, www.BFTAA, that stands for Black Family Technology Awareness Association, BFTAA. Go there and make a donation anytime, any amount. If it's $5, if it's $1, we're just glad that you notice us, that you see what we're doing, and that you would like to support us. If it's $20, if it's $30, we'd appreciate that. We don't put an amount to a donation. We just would like to have donations and your support. We like to get emails and text messages from you, people that follow our Facebook page and our YouTube page, leaving uplifting remarks, because that's good for everybody that volunteers around. Nobody gets paid at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. It is all volunteer driven right now, and that's what we do. Now, sometimes we're wanting to raise money, or we put in grants to get a special instructor in and equipment. So we do pay stipends sometimes to our robotics coaches or our teachers that may run a summer camp or something like that, and even to interns or students that, but the day-to-day work of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is done by volunteers. So if you'd like to volunteer with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, we'd love to have you. You don't have to know technology. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You can help out in a lot of other ways. We're doing presentations. We're out with the kids. We may need people to chaperone. We have a lot of different things you can do if you have office skills and things like that. So don't let the fact that you say, well, I'm not into computers or I'm not that techno person, stop you from volunteering with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We also would like to have your kids and more kids involved in our programs. We want to see it grow. We want to help as many people in the community as we possibly can. So support the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and also our partner here, the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. The W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center has been around for 50 years in Kansas City, doing tutoring, opening the doors for other organizations to meet and to form and to grow. The Black Family Technology Awareness Association got started with the help and the input from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, and a lot of the people in W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center helped us get this program off the ground. So they're our partners. We're tied with them, and yeah, we're here. So get in touch with us. Make a donation if you can, or just holler at us and let us know how we're doing. This is BFTAA and more, and we're getting ready to go into what we do, is tell you some information about technology. One of the things that we do is to bring you information from NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So we have a couple of clips from NASA that will run now. One is called This Week at NASA, and the other one is Space to Ground. We also have a star gazing or astronomy featured group, and that's called What's Up. So let's sit back, get ready to check out This Week at NASA.
Following the shadow of the total solar eclipse, a NASA astronaut returned safely from the space station, and our lunar roving robot gets some new hardware. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. We provided extensive coverage of the April 8th total solar eclipse from various locations across North America as the moon's shadow traveled from Mexico across the U.S. from Texas to Maine and through parts of Canada. In addition to views from the ground, views of Earth from a NASA science aircraft and even from the International Space Station showed the moon's shadow passing over cities and towns situated along the path of totality. A total solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and Earth, completely blocking the face of the sun. On April 5th, NASA astronaut Laurel O'Hara and 2 crewmates boarded a Soyuz spacecraft and undocked from the International Space Station. The next day, the trio made a safe parachute-assisted landing in Kazakhstan. O'Hara spent 6 months aboard the station supporting NASA's Artemis campaign and working on various scientific activities. This was her first spaceflight. The team building our lunar roving Viper robot recently installed its mast. Rover drivers and researchers will use the suite of instruments affixed to the mast, along with several science payloads, to scout the South Pole region of the moon during the rover's upcoming mission. Viper seeks to help us better understand the origin of water and other resources in that region prior to sending astronauts to the moon as part of our Artemis campaign. NASA's DC-8 aircraft was welcomed back to the agency's Armstrong Flight Research Center recently after completing its final mission. As the largest flying science laboratory in the world, the DC-8 has been used to support the agency's airborne science missions since 1987. It has helped collect data for countless scientific projects conducted by the global scientific community. The DC-8 will be retired to Idaho State University, where it will be used to train future aircraft technicians. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more about what else we're up to, check out nasa.gov.
All right. So that's a little bit about what's going on at NASA. We bring you this every week that they broadcast it, we relay it to you. But check out nasa.gov if you're interested, and if you have a young person that's interested in science or becoming a technician or an astronaut, that is a good place to go. They have a lot of things that young people would really enjoy. So NASA, NASA.gov, that's your government at work, your tax dollars, and you just got through doing your income tax. If you're like me, I just sent them in about 2 o'clock today, 2:30. To be exact. So I always end up waiting until not maybe the last minute, but yeah, there was just a few more minutes left. But I did get my taxes done. They're in. I've got a return coming. So I'm really glad about that and just glad to have that out of the way. So now that I can concentrate on a few other things that are going on. Now, the next show that we have is Space to Ground. This is also from NASA, and it focuses mainly on the space station, but some of the stuff that you already saw, you'll see it again in here, but they're mainly going to show you about the space station. So here we go with Space to Ground.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Sandra Jones. This week, a NASA astronaut returned to Earth after their mission to the International Space Station, and the crew on board captured imagery of a celestial event. On Sunday, NASA astronaut Laurel O'Hara returned to Ellington Field in Houston following her landing the day prior in Kazakhstan on the Soyuz MS-24 spacecraft alongside Roscosmos cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky and Belarus spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya at 3:17 a.m. Eastern on April 6th. O'Hara spent a total of 204 days in space, conducting science and research investigations on board the International Space Station, including investigating heart health, cancer treatments, and space manufacturing techniques during her stay aboard the orbiting laboratory. Were you able to view the total solar eclipse on Monday? On April 8th, a total solar eclipse crossed North America, passing over Mexico, the United States, from Texas to Maine, and Canada. Millions of people had the opportunity to witness this rare event in which the moon passes between the sun and Earth and completely blocks out the face of the sun, making the sky appear as if it were dawn or dusk. During the eclipse, the crew on board the International Space Station were also able to witness the eclipse and even capture imagery. To say that they were somewhat awestruck, well, take a listen.
Wow, look at that. Holy cow. You guys, get over here.
Coming. Awesome.
Can you
Wow,
see it?
this is-
Can you see it, Mike?
Unbelievable. That is what I've always wanted to see right there.
You can see the umbra, or the moon's shadow, passing over Earth as the space station orbited 260 miles above the northeastern coast of the United States and portions of the Canadian provinces of Quebec and New Brunswick. NASA recently announced the next rotational Soyuz crew to fly to the International Space Station this fall. NASA astronaut Don Pettit will launch on the Roscosmos Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft in September alongside Roscosmos cosmonauts Alexei Ovchinin and Ivan Wagner. This will be Pettit's fourth mission to the space station to conduct scientific investigations and technology demonstrations. He served as a science officer for Expedition 6 in 2003, operated the robotic arm for STS-126 Space Shuttle Endeavour in 2008, and served as a flight engineer for Expeditions 30 and 31 in 2012. Pettit has logged 370 days in space and conducted 2 spacewalks, totaling 13 hours and 17 minutes. Interested in becoming an astronaut yourself? Don't forget to get those applications in by Tuesday, April 16th in order to be considered for your own out-of-this-world assignment. And that's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Oh, that's St. Lawrence River-ish?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. St. Lawrence Seaway, Anacostia Island. We're up in the Maritimes, aren't we? Wow! Just look at the penumbra on the river there. And then into the blackness. Hot diggity dog.
That was quite a sight. I hope you got a chance to see part of the eclipse. I know here in Kansas City, we had the partial eclipse. It wasn't totality. It was a little more to the east of the Kansas City area that got totality as you got over into Illinois or Indiana. But it was still quite a show, even though it was just a partial eclipse over here. I was able to get a few pictures of the eclipse and of the partial eclipse, and it was really amazing to see. The next one's going to happen over the United States in what they said about 20 years or so, 2040 or 2044 or something like that. It's a pretty good ways out. So if I see another one, I may have to travel to go see it in another country or something, because I don't want to wait until I'm 90 years old to see it. But it's great. I'm glad that I got to see the one that we had, I think that was in 2017, which was quite a sight because we did go into totality here in the Kansas City area then. So we've been treated to a couple of good events in the sky, and it's also a good learning time and a time to get your curiosity going about what makes this world go. You know, how is it set up? How did God place everything and set everything into motion? And it's worth investigating. It's worth looking at because we're discovering so much, and it's so exciting. I mean, you could hear it in the voices of those astronauts as they watch the shadow move, that even though they're scientists, they've been up in space, they're flying around hundreds of thousands of miles above the Earth, they're amazed by this shadow that is traveling across the surface of the Earth, the moon and the sun. So it still brings awe to people that are are scientists that are doing great things, are out there in space floating around themselves, but they were impressed about it. So, you know, we have to look up, we have to even look down into the oceans and all around us, even if you don't go anywhere, just in your yard. There's so much to be discovered, so much to be seen, and stuff that we should try to keep a curious mind, always trying to learn, always trying to know something else, you know, because we don't know all the answers, and we may never have all the answers or all of the knowledge, but it's the what they say, it's the trip sometime, not the destination. It is going somewhere that is maybe more exciting and more of a learning experience than the destination. Sometimes it's just the going. So right now, as you're living life, you're going. Yeah, you're moving through life right now. So don't waste the time when that time can be used to learn, to grow, to investigate, to do some things. You know, we don't have to just sit around on the internet or on our phones or looking at TV. We can actually be out there doing some things. I've got a project that I'm working on now that I'm planning on going from Kansas City to St. Louis by kayak. That is something that I thought, well, hey, why not try it? Why not see what it's like, what I can learn about myself, how I can explore the river and see some of the natural sites that are around us, and even the support, because part of the money that I raise for that will be going to help save the Missouri River. All of our waterways need to be clean and kept pristine as possible, along with working with industry and stuff, is how do we keep our waterways working. So I'm going to get out there in my kayak. I was out at the store just this weekend looking at some kayaks to say, okay, well, what is it that I really want, and get out in. So, yeah, you should always be looking to do something. You may not want to go out there with me, but if you do want to go out with me in a kayak, just contact us right here at KUAW Radio. That's right. You see the phone number up there. It's 816-599-6893. That's how you get in touch with KUAW. You can call me right now, 816-599-6893. That'll put you in touch, and we can let you know how you can get involved with this river excursion down the mighty Mo. All right, and then eventually I'd like to take a trip down the Mississippi. But we'll take it one step at a time. I'm going to go up into the Platte River and do a little practicing. It's a little smaller before I jump off into a big river. So I plan on doing some smaller excursions. I've got in touch with a group. I'm going to be meeting with the Paddle KC group. I joined their meetup and want to do some things with them as we get ready for this year of excursion that's going to be going on. So we'll keep you in touch. I'm going to have a GoPro, and I'll probably try and broadcast as much as I can from the water whenever I'm in range of a tower that I can send you back information of what we're doing up and down the river. I will do that. But, yeah, that's coming up in July. The last week of July. I think we're leaving out on a Tuesday, supposed to be there by Friday. So, yep, that's one of the things that's planned coming up. So, yeah, I hope you got your taxes in and you're ready with that. Now, let's go into some of the things that are happening around the world and what's happening within the black diaspora. There's an article that's out. It's not brand new. It started in the Griot, and it's about black twin sisters that buy Woodland Plantation that was the site of the largest U.S. uprising of enslaved people. Yes, it was down in Louisiana. So two ladies formed a nonprofit, and they were able to buy the plantation on which some of their ancestors were enslaved. Joe Banner and Joy Banner, they're twins, founders of the Descendants Project, acquired Woodland Plantation in Laplace, Louisiana, with an unwavering commitment to preserving its historical legacy. I'm from Louisiana myself, not that far south, but it may be a place to have to check out. They say, growing up in Louisiana on the west bank of the Mississippi River, Jacinthia, who is Jo Banner, and her sister Joycia, and they call her Joy Banner, learned about the 1811 revolt by enslaved people from their grandmother. Yeah, their matriarch said the heads of those who rebelled and fought for their freedom were cut off and put on stakes along the Mississippi River. The story, Banner said, had been passed down in her family from generation to generation through oral tradition, but it's not just folklore. This really happened. Reports of heads severed and spiked to serve as a warning to any who dreamt of liberation from oppression and are recorded in the articles in Smithsonian Magazine, The Guardian, The Times-Picayune, and a piece written by Louisiana historian Leon Waters for the Zen Education Project. Yeah, and the 1811 revolt began at the Woodland Plantation in Laplace, Louisiana. Charles Deslandes and about 25 other enslaved people attacked Manuel Andre and his son, killing the son. As they marched toward New Orleans, enslaved people from other plantations joined them, and with the crowd of rebels growing to more than 500, the group was stopped by the military and captured. Some were put on trial and executed. They were freedom fighters. Jo Banner said of the 1811 revolt participants, they were trying to save their lives and the lives of their family. And now the Banner sisters are working to save their history as the new owners of that plantation that was home to what has been described as the largest uprising of enslaved people in American history. During the last few years, the Banners had been in talks with the owner of the Woodland Plantation, Timothy Sheehan, about the importance of preserving black history in the river parishes, Jo Banner said. In 2023, Sheehan contacted the Banner sisters and told them he planned to put the property up for sale and asked if they were interested in purchasing it. According to records in the St. John the Baptist Parish Clerk of Court office, the sisters, through their nonprofit, the Descendants Project, bought the plantation for $750,000. So they raised some money in their nonprofit. The purchase included the 4,000 square foot main building and 4 acres. The Banners founded the Descendants Project to preserve and protect the health, land, and lives of the black descendant community located in the Louisiana River parishes. Charlene Singosakar, an associate professor of history at Xavier University, said, "It's amazingly powerful that generations after the 1811 revolt, the descendants of the enslaved have the right to tell the stories of their generation of their legacy." So that's the thing that these two sisters did. They've raised the money, they've purchased it, and they're going to be using it to continue to tell the story of enslaved people and what they did, how they lived. That all wasn't just they went to work out in the fields and stuff. No, some of them were fighting for their history. And that 1811 revolt, I was looking up a little bit of information on that, and there's a book out by Daniel Rasmussen called American Uprising, and it recounts the 1811 slave revolt that turned New Orleans and the rest of the country upside down in 1811. So if you are rattling your black history memories trying to recall the details of this event, don't be ashamed. While we all know names like Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey are the go-to guys when it comes to rebel bravado, Charles Dessalines, Cook, and Quamanan, the masterminds behind the 1811 revolt, are not. So you haven't heard about these guys, Charles Dessalines, Cook, and Quamana. But they should be, just like you hear about Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey. The Daniel Rasmussen is summa cum laude and a Phi Beta Kappa from Harvard University, and he set out to bring these bold men and their history of their efforts to the forefront. The New Orleans Revolt involved more slaves and more deaths than any other, and indeed merits much more than a footnote in American history. Rawson uncovers what he calls vast collective amnesia about the events of that day. Yeah, everybody doesn't want to talk about it. Prior to the sugar boom, New Orleans was a poor, multicultural city with few social controls. The lines between slavery and freedom were not clearly drawn, and slaves frequently escaped to the swamps to form maroon colonies. So there was a history of armed resistance in these areas that drew on French, Creole, and Congolese traditions. These insurrectionary traditions shaped the lives of the slaves and represented an alternative political culture to that of the planters. The energy from other revolutions was also in the air, specifically the overthrowing of San Domingue by the black Haitians that began in 1791. The American slaves drew on the strength of that rebellion. They knew what was possible. So on January the 8th, 1811, during the period preceding the Mardi Gras, as plantation owners celebrated the season with grand dances and revelry, a plot had been set in motion. Charles Dessalines, a mixed race slave, along with two other slaves, Cook and Quamana, led the march from the sugar plantations of the German coast into the city of New Orleans, enlisting additional slaves along the way. This brave group, which eventually garnered 500 men armed with cane knives, axes, and guns, left a path of devastation as they burned down mansions and set fire to crops in their goal to establish a free black republic. Each of these men brought different abilities to the fight. As an overseer, the right-hand man of the plantation owner, Manuel Andre, Charles Dessalines held a trusted position that afforded him a great deal of freedom. He was able to travel from plantation to plantation and communicate with other slaves, letting them know what was going to happen. Cook and Quamana, probably from the Icon, a warlike African empire, were soldiers who had been trained for battle since birth. Intelligent and skilled, they were a formidable trio. So that was the story of, or part of the story of the 1811 slave revolt that happened in Louisiana. And now the plantation where it started is in the hands of some of the descendants of those enslaved people. So, you know, the world keeps on turning, we keep learning, and we should recognize that we owe a lot. We stand on the shoulders of giants that helped to fight to say, no, it's not going to be easy to keep us in slavery. That no, it's going to be resistance in that. So as the Civil War came some 50 years later, we still have to remember that slaves weren't sitting back waiting for somebody else to give them their freedom. That they did have that drive to be free of their own accord. So, you know, that's a little bit of black history. Check it out. The book is called American Rebellion, and the Woodland Plantation is located in Louisiana, La Plaza, Louisiana. Let's see what the name of that city is again. But it's something that you should look up, where the uprising began, and that now it was in La Place, Louisiana, and what all was there. So as you're making travels, making vacation plans, you may want to visit a plantation like that down in Louisiana so that you can see some of the places where our ancestors were and what they had to go through. All right, that's the show for today. I'm glad you joined to the BFTAA and More show. As I say, we give you technology, we give you news and information, and we give you a little bit of history of things that have gone on in the world and in the black diaspora. So thank you for joining. My name is Louis George Walker. I am your host. I'm here every Monday from 5 to 5:45, or sometimes just a little bit over, like today. But thank you for joining. This is the BFTAA and More show. We appreciate you. Hope you get your taxes done. If you haven't got it done, you only got a few hours to get those taxes sent in. Whether you drop them off at the post office or send them in electronically, which most people are doing it electronically now. But get your taxes in, and let's be back here again next Monday for BFTAA and More. Have a great evening.